Sound the bagpipes for the defending ACC champions. Notre Dame returns to Klockner Stadium in Charlottesville to take on Virginia, a rematch of last year's ACC title game. Same teams, same venue, just a different season. Last week in the semifinals over in Chapel Hill, Virginia staged a furious fourth-quarter rally to knock off North Carolina. Notre Dame led wire-to-wire against Duke. So Notre Dame and Virginia for the second straight year, the Irish won by 10 goals in the title game a season ago. And good afternoon from Charlottesville and East Shroff. Alongside Matt Ward, Megan Triplett is down on the field. No automatic qualifier in the ACC, so what's at stake today? Well, for Virginia, a win, and they're looking at a likely 2 or 3 seed in the NCAA tournament. Selection Sunday is tomorrow. If Notre Dame wins, they're pretty much guaranteed a first-round home game. And for the Irish, Brian Costabile is somebody that can carry a team on his shoulders.
Yeah, he was the MVP of the ACC tournament last year, and he has only gotten better. He is a first-team All-American in the making. He is just an absolute force on the offensive side of the field. He has a consistent release point on his shot, but the location changes, and when he's this big body, he can get wherever he wants to get in the field. Look at him set up his dodge, move to the middle of the field. Again, a different part of the net that he's peppering with his shooting. He is their best offensive player. Teams fear him from the outside as a shooter.
A volume shooter, 5 goals on 12 shots last week. For Virginia, we talk so much about the flair and flash of the offense. The backbone of this team is the hustle, the ground balls. That's Ryan Conrad.
Yeah, Ryan Conrad, coming off an ACL injury, is really starting to find his own. Look, this is a defensive midi-type player, throwing a box fake, feeding the crease, off-ball movement. He can do it all, but today, he may have his biggest impact on the wings of face-offs, because that will be so critical to who wins this game.
3 goals, 5 ground balls in the win against North Carolina. A question for Virginia: who starts in goal? Megan Triplett with the latest.
Thanks, Anish. Yes, even though Virginia is in the midst of one of their most successful seasons in 7 years, there's still some questions when it comes to the goalie position. Virginia has sophomore goalie Alex Rode and freshman Patrick Birkinshaw, who are both highly recruited out of high school, but they both have had mixed results this season. Lars Tiffany even said he hadn't made a decision leading up to this game, but I just spoke to Lars moments ago on the field, and he's going with lefty Alex Rode. And the reason is just simple, because it was based off this week at practice. Rode had the slight advantage.
Rode started the first half last week, was benched then at halftime in favor of the freshman Birkinshaw. Petey LaSala and Charlie Leonard at the face-off X. LaSala for Virginia, Leonard for Notre Dame, 2 of the best in the ACC. And LaSala wins the opening draw of this 2019 ACC championship. Virginia will get set on offense. Matt, a clash of styles, the frenetic unpredictability of Virginia, the mechanical determination of Notre Dame.
Yeah, Notre Dame, always one of the best defensive programs. They have locked down big athletes, but it's their scheme. They are always at the right place at the right time. Their first slides are great. Their second slides are great. Where Virginia can really hurt them, though, is their athletes and their one-on-one dodging, because they have some of the best in the country.
Here's one of them, Dox Aiken. He'll skip it over to Conrad, the senior captain. And now Michael Kraus. Kraus with a bouncer and a big save by Matt Schmidt. Notre Dame had a goalie conundrum, which Schmidt seemed to solve last week, a career-high 18 saves. And it was no gimme that Schmidt was going to be the starting goalie last week. Drew Shantz and Notre Dame now settling into their 6-on-6 offense. Like an equipment issue there.
I think a chin strap had been unbuckled.
First midfield for Notre Dame, the freshman Quinn McCann. Now Brian Costabile, the leading goal scorer, along with the sophomore Wheaton Jacobois. Costabile on the run, shot deflected. Trickles behind the cage. Mooring had it, popped loose. And Gleason comes away with it. That number 40, which he donned in the regular season finale against UNC. The late Mike Sennett, former Notre Dame captain, he passed away in his late 30s of a heart attack.
An interesting matchup here, offense versus defense. Well, we talked about Notre Dame schematically very solid. UVA on the ball is great. Where they struggle sometimes off the ball, where that may be not the big issue, is Notre Dame's not great passers. And so they're more of a dodge for yourselves type situation when it's a UVA strength.
For those of you who saw UMBC, a Cinderella story that's all too familiar in these parts, win the America East, we welcome you to the ACC Championship in Charlottesville. Scoreless first quarter, Virginia and Notre Dame. The Cavaliers and the Irish played in this game a season ago, Notre Dame winning by 10 goals. Anish Shroff, Matt Ward, Megan Triplett down on the sideline. Second offensive possession here for Virginia. Here comes Matt Moore. He's been red hot of late, 20 points in his last 4 games. Matt Moore on cue. Michael Krause went down, and Matt Moore has blossomed into a full-fledged superstar.
Yeah, he's their most complete offensive player. A great passer with the ball in his stick as he's dodging, but also can score from the outside. But now 2 possessions in a row, UVA has had one of their 2 best dodgers matched up against a short stick. Moore recognizes that, gets to the middle of the field to his strong hand, high to high, pulls it across his body to the top post. Schmidt on it, but not strong enough in grip pressure. Cavaliers up 1-0 here early.
Krause, Moore, and Laviano rank 1, 2, and 3 in points per game in the ACC. And Krause is back today, his second game back after missing 3. But the way Matt Moore played, I remember the Duke game, first game that Krause missed. Moore was unstoppable, 5 points, 4 goals in the first half. He's continued that. And last year in this game, it was Krause, it was Aiken. And Moore has become their best offensive player down the stretch.
Yeah, what you like about Matt Moore is he can have a game where he has 4 goals, but he can have a game where he has 4 assists. He is a complete player versus Michael Krause, much more likely to have 5 goals and 2 assists, right? He's a different player, and they complement one another very well.
Moore had 6 assists last week. A chance here for the Irish. Shots couldn't pick it up clean, and a missed opportunity for Notre Dame unsettled. Stan lost his stick. It belonged. Lars Tiffany told us early in the week, last year when Virginia got to this game, it was such a big deal, beating Syracuse in the semis. They weren't ready. Night and day in terms of being prepared for this venue and this stage a season from last year.
Yeah, I think last year they got the monkey off their back with winning a game in the ACC right, for the first time in years. Now they're a team that's confident, and I think the clearest indicator that last year they blew a bunch of 5-goal leads. This year they're coming back from 5 down, and so there's just this different aura around this team from a belief perspective.
There's the freshman, Jack Simmons.
Again, here's that short stick matchup. We have Moore
against Timmy Phillips.
Phillips a great D-midi, but it's just a very unfortunate. That's a matchup UVA will go after all day long.
Moore just broke his ankles. Now here comes Krause around to the X. Grant staying with him. Krause looking to get to the middle. Can't get through a double team. Ball on the ground. Popped into the air. And Jack Keelty has it for the Irish. And Notre Dame close defense. Keelty, Krantz, and the sophomore Arden Cohen, who's the best of the 3. All returning starters. And that defense, led by Jerry Byrne, their defensive coordinator, has been the backbone of Notre Dame's success this decade.
And what we're seeing here, UVA is doing a bit of a press ride, and Notre Dame's trying to beat it with a deep pass. And if it's there, you have to realize that you have to throw the pass really hard because those defensive players can recover very fast. But it's also hard to throw a 50-yard pass accurately, right? And so Notre Dame's struggling with the clear game so far.
At Virginia, one of the best riding teams in the country. Teams only clear at 70% against UVA.
And they all do. All 3 of them.
Racing against the freshman, Cade Sawstad. 6'5" defender out of Texas. Here's Jacobois. Costabile from the wing. Good defense by Jared Connor. Shot clock at 15. Gleason shoots low and is saved by Alex Rode.
That's good. That's good defense. And what I like about that is Alex Rode pulled the last game. That's a great shot to give up as a defense, to give him some confidence. He saw it the whole way, match stick for stick. That's the weakest part of this UVA team, is what they've done in the cage all season long.
The downside to that, Lars Tiffany has told us in the past, the most critical position which fosters his style of play, the goalie.
And that's, obviously making saves and stealing, right? If you play aggressive defense, it's the outlet passes. And that's where Rode is, he struggles in both areas, candidly. And he can get hot. He's had games where he's had 20 saves, but he always struggles with those quick outlet passes.
Another team in the field, Richmond, knocking off High Point in the SoCon. And Richmond could be a first-round opponent for Virginia a week from now. There comes Aiken. Matt, how do you want to attack this Notre Dame defense? They slide and recover so well.
But you have to stick with it. And UVA, their struggle offensively, sometimes they hold the ball too long as dodgers. And Notre Dame's going to make you pay if you do that. So dodge and then slide, or just give it to Doc Aiken. That kind of works sometimes too.
Aiken's the all-time leading scorer from the midfield position at Virginia. Only a junior. No other midfielder has more goals or more points. Career goal number 102 gives Virginia a 2-0 lead.
And we talked about Costabile for Notre Dame. Doc Aiken, the same player, just with bigger numbers. Not much of a passer, but look at the size, the strength. Stick on his glove. He doesn't care. Just look at the patient here. And again, not that accurate shot. He gets Smith to drop. And then actually, if you look at it, he actually peppers the upper corner. 2-0 Cavaliers.
Timeout by Kevin Corrigan and Notre Dame. Virginia with the early 2-0 lead.
The ACC Men's Lacrosse Championship is brought to you by Capital One. What's in your wallet?
Renee Schroff, Matt Ward, Megan Triplett down on the field. Virginia getting to the ACC Championship thanks to a stunning fourth quarter comeback last week against North Carolina. UVA down by as many as 4 goals in the fourth. Matt Jama winning the ground ball of the season. That triggered the break. Ian Laviano, the game winner, one of his 4 goals. And Virginia completed the comeback. Brian Costabile scored 5 against Duke. Notre Dame built up a 5-goal lead. Duke got it to within 1, but the Irish never trailed. And Notre Dame and Virginia meeting in the second consecutive ACC championship here. Irish won it last year. Matt Jama on the sideline. We talked about ground balls in are open. Ryan Conrad, a critical piece of that. But the defensive midfield, Jama, Fox, that is a strength of Virginia.
If I'm Coach Tiffany, I'm recording that play and showing it to every recruit because that is what he wants his program to be. Hard-nosed on the ground balls, push in transition, shooting with efficiency. What a way for them to pull off that victory.
As Leonard wins the faceoff. And to be fair, the emphasis on ground balls predates Tiffany. That goes back to Dom Starju when you played for him.
When I played, we won the national championship twice. We led the country in ground balls twice. That's just it's extra possessions that make the difference, especially as you get towards the tournament.
Now, Lars Tiffany gives his team a book before every season. Last year it was Gates of Fire about the 300 Spartans in the Battle of Thermopylae, King Leonidas. This year, Boys in the Boat, which is a story of a crewing team and a story of perseverance and sacrificing self for team. The ground balls embody that in his eyes. Connor couldn't handle the pass. Scooped up by Keelty. Shovels it ahead. How about the aggression from Connor from behind to get it back for UVA?
I think they're looking to see if someone's offside here. Not sure what the call is.
Ryan Abbott, Tom Sutton, Jim Blankner, the officials. Whatever the call is here early, Notre Dame's having problems clearing the ball. 5 possessions, 4 turnovers for the Irish right now.
And Notre Dame's a team that needs to control possession. And when you have turnovers, that's not a formula for success for this offense. Virginia has to be happy with the pressure they're applying.
Kevin Corrigan wants an offsides.
And it's an interesting, so they're resetting the shot clock to 42, but they put the ball in the back corner. And so they kind of took some of the progress that Virginia had in that clearing. And so this is going to be a tough possession for Virginia. They got to clear it quick and then go right towards the cage.
Gorgeous day here in Charlottesville. Good crowd on hand. Virginia looking to win an ACC championship for the first time since 2010. Notre Dame won it last year. Conrad. Here's Connor. Steps into it. Saved by Schmidt. Rebound comes to Keelty.
That's a good save from Schmidt. Two nice saves so far in the game.
Greco upending Phillips. And we get a flag, and Timmy Phillips down near midfield.
And this is, we'll see what the call on this. This could be a minute, 2 minute unreleasable. You have to know better than that if you're Greco when someone's in that defenseless position to lay off. Let him catch it and turn into you and go with the check. I know you want to be physical, but that's just, you knew you were going to get a penalty.
Greco, a fifth-year senior. Phillips, also a senior out of Alexandria, Virginia. Sister played lacrosse at Notre Dame. Mom was a tennis player at West Virginia. Dad, a football player at Bucknell. Kevin Corrigan coming out to check on his player.
Legal body check.
Just that.
Legal body check, but they could go multiple minutes.
In games like this, you talk about momentum. Go to the first minute between these two and a delay of game call.
White, number 44, that's a 3-minute unnecessary roughness. 3 minutes.
That's a 3-minute penalty on Greco.
That's going to be unreleasable too, I'd imagine. Or they're not. It doesn't look like it's unreleasable. Is there a I'm not sure on that. Is there a 3-minute penalty?
I think that's what Notre Dame's asking right now.
Does not result into unreleasable? Maybe because it wasn't head-to-head.
Number 44, the Cavaliers the first slip out there.
It does not appear to be non-releasable.
They dodged a bullet there. Again, it's that play where early in the season, UVA playing Syracuse. Greco had a play just like that, and he actually laid up and still made a contact, and it was still a penalty. So you have to learn from that and know that, hey, you're dominating play here early in this quarter, and now you put your defense 3 minutes.
It is non-releasable.
Okay, a non-releasable 3-minute penalty. That's
Notre Dame was trying to get clarification from its bench too, but we do have clarification. 3-minute non-releasable penalty. So even if the Irish score, all right, now we're getting word it is releasable. We never saw the officials put their hands over their head. So we were just told a moment ago it was non-releasable. Now we're told it is releasable. And Costabile whirls it hot. But again, I don't think I've ever seen a 3-minute non-releasable penalty.
I didn't know that was a possibility. But what I think is big there, Rode matched Costabile stick for stick there. The sophomore goaltender seeing the ball nicely here early in this matchup.
Should that have been a non-releasable penalty? I thought so.
It wasn't to the head. That's the only thing I can think about, but it was completely unnecessary. It was, again, a defenseless player. It's not like the NFL where it's back. I mean, you could see that. You could have pulled up and not put your team in a position and honestly not taken Phillips out of the game as Costabile rips one. High to low, near side.
Extra man goal. We'll be back to even strength now. And Costabile with his 15th career man-up goal. That's his 37th on the season. The ACC tournament MVP from the season ago.
And look here, it's just an easy pass to Costabile. Virginia gets a little aggressive, but he steps in. Connors never comes out to play him. And just look at his shooting stroke is so pretty. It's the same release, but the ball goes to different locations in the net. He's a junior from Sykesville, Maryland.
What is Settlers of... I don't even know how to say that. What is that, man?
Your guess is as good as mine.
Is that a board game? Is that a video game?
If it was a Game of Thrones reference, I think I could help, but it's not.
Leonard and Lasala. Face-off won by Notre Dame. Shantz off the wing. Irish have won 3 straight draws. Back to even strength now. 3-minute penalty, obviously not releasable. Got some conflicting information on that. Usually when the referees will say non-releasable, they'll put their hands over their head. They never made that motion. Second midfield getting some run now for the Irish. Stinn, Meyer, and Tommy McNamara. Morrison Meyer. Dad Rick, second overall pick in the 93 NFL draft behind Drew Bledsoe, former Notre Dame quarterback, and a good one. Here's Stinn. Slipping on the field. Plays it back up top. Meyer over to Gleason from the wing. Gleason changing direction. Comes back to X. Brian Willits, 6'4" junior out of Long Island. Shot clock at 10. Jama Ding up Myra, 14 on 14. Myra's shot hits the pipe, flag down. Stinn on the rebound, shoots and scores. Just the second goal of the season for Nick Stinn, the senior out of San Francisco.
Right here, Rode. I think it's going to be Meyer here. He's going to dodge to his left. Gets to the nice part of the field, and Rode with the save, but can't handle the rebound. And then the alert tic-tac-toe passing is Stinn. Has the easy part of the step-down shot off quick ball movement.
All right, Matt, real-time feed from Denver Sports Information Director Nico Blankenship. Settlers of Catan, Caton, big-time board game in the lacrosse world. Apparently, the Denver guys play it all the time. So, face-off violation on Virginia. Notre Dame with a chance for the lead.
And that penalty, I was thinking about, I mean, this was a game that Virginia dominating, dictating pace of play, and since that moment, it's been all Notre Dame. It's been all Fighting Irish.
With a win today, Notre Dame would have its first 3-game win streak of the season. Costabile against Connors.
So I'm going to keep an eye on here. The field, we've gotten a lot of rain here the last couple of days. Seems very slick.
Gleason, skip pass at the feet of Jacobois.
And when that's the case, I give the advantage to the offensive player because they know where they're going. They can be a little bit more deliberate.
Jacobois whiffs. Connors a threat in transition, 11 career goals. Here comes Moore. Dropped it. Schmidt out of the cage. Able to pick it up now. Schmidt goes down. No flag. Keelty saves it. But we're going to get a loose ball push on Virginia. Now, what makes Virginia so effective in this riding game?
They care. I mean, these attackmen probably value a cause turnover and a ride more than they do a goal. You don't hear that very often.
And it's all three. It's Laviano, it's Moore, and it's Krause.
There's no weak link.
Notre Dame's got 5 seconds to get it across. Schmidt heaves it downfield, and that's a turnover. They took too long. Desperation heave, and that's 6 first-quarter turnovers for the Irish.
And that's now the third time UVA's in what we call a 10-man ride, where it's basically like a full-court press, and they make it very challenging. Those passes tend to be there, but you have to be pretty skilled to throw a pass that far, that accurate.
With the new rules, Once possession starts and the shot clock hits 80, you have 20 seconds to get it across the midfield line.
And that's why you're seeing more 10-man rides, because it makes clearing the ball out of the defense's zone that much more challenging. It can present difficulties for your defense if they get over midfield, but getting it there, taking advantage of that 20-second possession.
Conrad over to Kraus. Kraus can't get that hand free. Left hand free now. Shot is blocked. That's one thing Notre Dame job of Lars Tiffany telling us. You want the outside shot, they don't let you get those hands free. Aiken's got the shorty. Now help from Restic. Kraus feeding inside to Laviano.
And if I'm John Hallenbach for Notre Dame, I go to the ground. Yeah, they're going to let him come off. He took that shot from Kraus off the arm. Good for him. He really, you could see he was struggling, but he sucked it up and stayed on his man and was able to sub off after Virginia missed that shot.
Against this Notre Dame defense, Lars Tiffany emphasized getting the ball inside, finding the small spaces in the crease. Moore, adept as a scorer and a feeder, over to Herring. Herring from the pick. Flag is down. And it's interference.
And usually in lacrosse, there's a play on. But what happened was Restic is going to push Laviano into the crease. And when a player goes into the crease, the play is dead. And so while most penalties, Virginia's got an opportunity here, but since he ended up in the crease, they killed the play. Virginia goes man up.
For a team this gifted offensively, Virginia only 27% with the extra man doesn't really make sense.
It's mind-blowing. And they've tried different personnel, but to me it's not a personnel thing.
Aiken to Moore. Aiken back to Moore. Now Kraus, way off the mark.
But Virginia doesn't change sets. They're always in like a 3-3 or a 2-3-1, and they stay. And they try to draw the man and then make these passes, but it never opens up passing lanes. Passing lanes open up when you make the defense expand and contract, and when you stay in the same set. That never happens. Matt Moore has had more passes picked off from the top of the man up than anyone in the country because passing lanes don't open up.
Herring over to Kraus. Laviano over to Moore, too high.
But just look at the rotation from Notre Dame's defense. I mean, they are so buttoned up and well coached, and it's every single year. Plug and play in this program on the defensive side of the ball.
And Jerry Byrne, the Minister of Defense. You ask the coaching staff, matchup-wise, what concerns you? It's not a matchup-based defense, it's a system. And it's been effective. Bounce shot is wide. Final seconds here of this first quarter. Virginia out to a 2-0 lead. Notre Dame answered back.
And this is where Virginia is as good as anyone at the end of shot clocks and quarters because they have such dynamic athletes and dodgers.
Moore. Aiken. Knocked away. Rolling toward midfield. 5 seconds to go in the quarter. Ball stops dead. And quarter number 1 is in the books. Almost. 1.1 second. Phillips off the cross of Alex Road. Virginia connected on 2 of its first 3. 0 for 7 since. The Stars have shown up. Moore got it going for UVA. He has been white hot of late. Then Aiken, the most prolific midfield scorer in Virginia history. And you can't forget about Brian Costabile. 2-2 through 1 in this ACC championship. 2-2 after 1 quarter in the ACC championship. Second meeting of the season between Notre Dame and Virginia. March 16th, right here in Klockner. Wheaton Jacobois had a 4-point game. Brian Costabile, a rare assist. Irish had a 5-goal lead in the second half, and then Virginia closed on an 8-1 run. Ian Laviano had 5 goals, 3 in that closing run, including the game winner. And Virginia with a roaring comeback. That has been the story in many ways for both teams this season. Virginia, the kings of the comeback. And Notre Dame, they blew 5-goal leads against Virginia, against Ohio State, nearly let one slip away against Duke last week, nearly let a big lead slip away in the regular season against Syracuse.
Yeah, we were talking about that. They were a goal or two away from Syracuse from their season being over. I mean, there's no way you come back from 3 straight games losing 5-goal leads, and that almost happened. But that just speaks to the coaching staff, the belief in the program, and that's why this team is a threat to win the national championship, because they've overcome adversity.
Face-off violation on Virginia. That's 2, one more, and Notre Dame will go man up for 30 seconds. Irish have won 5 straight at the X.
It'll be interesting to see if UVA brings in Schwenk, last year, who set the record for ground balls in a season.
Jacoboyce, an easy save for Rode. He's got the outlet. Pops it ahead. Connors hits the deck. Kraus scoops it up off the scramble. Laviano had one on the doorstep, but instead squeaks one past Schmidt.
We talked about Rhodes' outlet passes being a struggle, but he likes to push it in transition, kind of hose it down the field, hoping Connors can be the first one there to get it. Right here, we're going to see from the save, the nice save, and you can see number 28 at the top of your screen breaking up the field. Just an inaccurate pass, but again, Kraus, great at ground balls, the recognition. What's a special piece here, Laviano usually goes low to high. I mean, he is a machine low to high. Schmidt almost saved that, and he changed it up. He went low to low. And so credit Laviano for changing it up, but Schmidt has been sharp so far. He is seeing the ball, as is Rode for UVA. We talked about both teams' questions in the goal. Both pretty sharp so far.
As Schmidt, like Rode, had lost his job during the season. In fact, John Zullo had started the last 3 games leading up to the ACC tournament. Schmidt got the call last week, responded with a career-high 18 saves, and played the best game of his career by far. Big ground ball off the face-off. Virginia has it, and there's Kraus.
When we talk about UVA riding, it's also ground balls. They are hard-nosed.
Conrad had it jarred loose, able to recover.
And this timeout here, I think.
And we do get a timeout by Lars Tiffany, 13:53 to go. Cavaliers with a 3-2 lead will step aside as well as Lars addresses his team. Cavs by 1. Lars Tiffany likes to tell us team over self is one of the foundational qualities of Virginia lacrosse. Where do you see that? On ground balls.
And this is just a team that is all over the field, doing the little things. And what happens is when you do the little things right, it leads to big opportunities. Right there, Dox Aiken off the ground ball makes a huge save. And this right here, again, I said earlier, this is, if I'm building a program that wants to push the tempo, this is the poster child for that. Not only is it pretty lacrosse, transition lacrosse, it was the game winner against a rival in North Carolina. UVA does it as well as anyone on the ground, riding the ball. Extra possessions mean the world in this game of lacrosse.
Unforced error by Virginia.
Number 12, Jack Simmons there, a player they love, one of their better Dodgers. But now you're a freshman going towards that sophomore stage in your career. You can't make those mistakes in the ACC championship. And a nice adjustment there from Notre Dame in clearing.
The Irish just have not had many opportunities to get true offensive possessions.
There's been 1 or 2. They haven't had sustained pressure. And again, this is an offense that needs that. They need to kind of wear you down on the defensive side because they don't have a lot of assisted goals. They don't play a ton of team offense. It's more kind of individual dodging and maybe dodging and scoring off a second pass.
McCann got a step on Smith. His shot is blocked. Costabile can't scoop it up. Saustad had the game-winning assist last week, 11 and white, talented freshman, and now Greco. Rode dumps it forward. Dave Smith, senior captain, part of that defensive midfield. Kraus off the pick from Smith. Gets to the middle and an easy save for Schmidt. Outlet to Phillips. Here comes Notre Dame. Good to see Timmy Phillips back in there after taking a hard fall earlier.
Again, UVA is going to live by that. Michael Kraus, your best dodger, getting in the middle of the field. The shots, but again, Schmidt continuing where he left off last week, looking sharp.
And this is a Notre Dame defense where it's designed for the goalies to see bad shots from the offense, so you've got to make the average save. And they've had trouble doing that at times this season.
We can see the field's really coming to play here. There's a lot of footing.
Yeah, Greco lost his footing. Jacobois bumped out of bounds for a flag. That's going to be a push with possession. So another man-up chance for Notre Dame.
Let's take a look here. It's in the back. You know, I think it's the right call. I think UVA is upset that, you know, I think it was the force at which he pushed him. He was running out of bounds no matter what, you know, so be smarter. Don't press. But again, I think the right call to give Notre Dame another man-up opportunity. And this is really where their offense has been generated today.
Costabile had an extra man goal, part of that 3-minute man-up earlier. Costabile, 6 extra man goals. He's got it now over to Jacobois. Gleason. Costabile. His shot blocked. Greco did a nice job getting in there. Tell you what, I didn't think we'd be talking this much about Virginia's defense.
And Virginia, again, a team one-on-one matches up pretty well.
Gleason shot, saved by Rode on the rebound. Behind the back, it's not there for McCann. And Rode, the outlet up ahead to Jama. Conrad, unsettled opportunity. Conrad lays it back. Good recovery by the Irish. Moore didn't have that much of an angle, maybe more than he thought.
And I think Rhodes listening to me, because my two comments been he hasn't saved the ball this season all that well in his outlet pass. Right there, what a save and what a pass. The sophomore. If we check it out here on the left side of our screen, a low-angle shot, but look, he sees the ball the entire way. That's where he struggles. He makes a lot of saves off his body because he does play great position, but he is seeing the ball well as UVA gets another, but it was those saves that lead to that goal. Conrad with his 18th of the season.
Matt, this is a Virginia offense which is top-heavy. It needs its stars to show up. Well, look at the goals. It's Moore, it's Aiken, it's Laviano, it's Conrad, the usual suspects.
Yeah, their top 5 offensive players are as good as any team in the country. They don't have a ton of depth. But to your point, you have to be conditioned, and you can't have an off day from any of your players. Ryan Conrad, to me, reminds me a lot of a player named Billy Gladding, who I played with my senior year. An incredible two-way player. For second-team All-American, Ryan Conrad is in that mold where he's skilled offensively, but he's just, if you're a coach, he can't not be your favorite player for all the things that he does.
You know, Matt, I look at the championship teams, the teams that go on to have success championship weekend, just the last few years. Yale had Tyler Warner. Maryland, Isaiah Davis-Allen. That two-way game-changing midi who's a threat to score, the punt return clear. You can put him on the face-off wings. Those are the guys, they may not get all the accolades, they may not have the big numbers. Those are the guys that deliver championships.
Because the easiest position to attack offensively is that D-midi. If you have a loaded midfield, you're going to attack that matchup, and if you can not freak out defensively because you have a stud defensive midi, it makes your job as a team defense that much easier.
Go back 2012, Loyola, Hawkins.
I mean, my year, J.J. Morrissey. Before that, my senior year, Nate Kenny, Billy Gladding. I mean, if you have good D-middies that can pick up the ball off the ground, and not have to automatically slide to, it opens the world for you defensively.
Yeah. Stin slips. He's got one of the Notre Dame goals over to Gleason. Quiet so far. Gleason skips one, and it is over the head of Myrer. Another turnover for the Irish. Gleason and Costabile have been the constants for Notre Dame, just 1 of 6 shooting combined.
And some turnovers.
Virginia in the first meeting did a good job on those two. They were 1 for 11 in that game. Now, Virginia's playing right now with an energy and a purpose that, frankly, in this game last year, we didn't see.
I thought you hit on it. I mean, I don't think Virginia thought they would win last year. You know, I think they were happy to win a game in the ACC. This year, I think they expect to win every game. And there's something to be said about momentum.
How about Aiken? Nice move to get past Shantz. Moore shaded by Krantz. Now Krause has the shorty McNamara. That's the matchup. Help coming from Keelty. Krause nearly fell to the ground. Loose ball. Krantz can't scoop it up. Kicked it with those green cleats. Moore on the deck. Everybody's falling. Krantz ambushed. Comes back to Virginia and Peel. Here's Dixon. Thought about it. Krause has it go off his cross as we check in with Megan.
Thanks, Anish. You know, Notre Dame has played their best lacrosse this season in the second quarter. They haven't gotten on the board yet in the second quarter, but they've outscored their opponents 48-25 over the last 12 games. And their best second quarter game this season was against Virginia. They outscored them 6-1.
Downside of that was how things turned out from about the midpoint of the third quarter onwards. Matt, we're seeing over the second half of the season an improving defense from Virginia. There's Connor Moore, and he's been quiet today. Has not had the ball much in. Turns it over. That was an issue for him last year.
And Virginia's always been a team that, again, one-on-one, they have the athletes and the great players. It's been scheme, where they haven't been great sliding teams. They slide at the wrong times. They don't recover. They're learning. They're getting better. They gain the players that they want here in the program. Their D middies are much bigger and more athletic than they had been. Good on the ground.
Shot clock at 6. And another turnover by Notre Dame.
But you can see there the difference, right? They are in the right position. They're in the passing lanes. They're not going to make it easy. Now, again, if you watch them play Duke picks them apart schematically. They know how to play them and where their weak spots are. But they're learning. They're getting better.
Talking to Lars Tiffany this week, he said his program in this rebuild, reconstruction, whatever you want to call it, has checked off a lot of boxes. Last year it was finally winning an ACC game, winning an ACC tournament game. This year, winning the ACC regular season title, having a chance for the ACC championship. He said one big box that Virginia still has to check, beating Duke. They have not done that since you were in school. Krause wide.
And I think if I'm an offensive player and if I'm a coach, you got to change your schema. The field is too slippery to be changing. It's one hard move and go and make the pass. Do not get goal line extended and try to change direction 3 or 4 times, because as we've seen, people are slipping and falling.
There's more. That's off the mark. And to clarify, your Virginia team was the last to beat Duke in the regular season. Virginia beat Duke in the ACC tournament in 2010.
I feel
that's it, though. 19 out of 20 have gone to Duke.
Yeah, I feel like I may have been a part of starting this. My junior year lost 17-2, so that was the last time I played Duke. So it wasn't that I wasn't a part of the problem. Definitely wasn't part of the solution.
Here comes Herring. Nice little spin move over to Krause. Krause has had some big games against Notre Dame in his career. Conrad, shot saved by Schmidt. Loose in front. Moore had his stick knocked through the air. That's something Jerry Byrne, Notre Dame's defensive coordinator, told me before the game. Virginia's so good on those ground balls right in front, off of rebounds. Schmidt's got to make clean saves.
Yeah, but that again right there, that's
another turnover. McCann flying out of bounds.
But look, I mean, Virginia again, Krause by the midfield line. Ryan Conrad, by the midfield line. I mean, this Virginia team, it's as good a riding team as I can remember.
3 out of every 10 opposing.
That's crazy.
Clearing attempts result in turnovers.
Those extra possessions have exponential reward.
And in a game like this, Virginia wants to play more possessions because they've got the offensive talent. Notre Dame likes to condense the game. Aiken gets the step. Dox Aiken his second, unassisted.
This is the part Dox Aiken's that's special. Well, let's look here. It's going to, again, another goal off a ride. You have Conrad forcing Notre Dame out of bounds, and then Dox Aiken. He is a dodging to score first player. Why is Notre Dame not sliding? Make him pass the ball. Because he's not a great passer. He is as good as anyone in the last 10 years scoring out of the midfield.
Real first name is Dox Rude. Took some ballet as a young man. Both parents were college lacrosse players. Mom at Penn State, dad at Lafayette. Terrific high school football player as well.
You can't let him beat you as a defense with a sweeping dodge to the middle of the field. Slide to him. Make him make a pass. He's not great at that.
Only a junior, Dox Aiken, and he has the most goals and points of any Virginia midfielder. Pretty good list. You played with a few.
Yeah, that's just remarkable that he's already accomplished so much. And I'm glad he's getting to do it now on a national scale where it's a Virginia team that's contenders.
And not to take anything away, I think the difference is the teams that Dox has played on, they don't have the depth of scoring that some of your teams have. And some of the other Virginia teams that we know as great teams. So, you run a second midfield, you're going to get some goals from that unit. There's Matt Moore. But still, the dude in is phenomenal.
His shooting righty-lefty as good as any midi. I mean, he doesn't care. He can absolutely hammer it with his right or left hand.
Krause against Shantz. Krause using the shake, slides, gets up. Ooh, a missile off the mark. Notre Dame winning the hustle to the end line.
And a schematic approach for Virginia that's starting to unfold here is they are taking Michael Krause behind the cage, setting a pick on the ball, and Notre Dame is switching. UVA is going to keep doing that. Michael Krause is one of the best dodging attackmen. To me, him and Pat Spencer are the two best. Hey, I got to get to the goal. Who are you going to give the ball to?
Right.
And if he's going to get that with a short stick, he hasn't scored yet, but I'd keep going back to it.
In 4 career games against the Irish, Krause 13 goals and 5 helpers.
And when I'm looking at Notre Dame's offense here, I want to see Wheaton Jacobois make himself felt. He is, to me, the key because he is getting that short stick matchup.
Gleason picked up by Fox. Jacobois had 2 goals, 2 assists in the regular season meeting against UVA. Costabile defended well. There's Jacobois.
And one switch here, Notre Dame has moved Gleason to running out of the box to get him a short stick matchup. This is a great time for them to attack.
They'll attack Fox. Virginia's top D midi. Westland. Costabile against Connors. Costabile off the mark. And how about the hustle by Kyle Kaloji, the sophomore out of Jersey. He was going to go to Cal to play club lacrosse, walk down to this program. Lars Tiffany wasn't sure if he'd be good enough to play. Instead, found himself as a starter last year. They love his lacrosse IQ.
He's a solid player. He's good on the ground. And I think UVA, what they've been lacking is that IQ type defenseman. Someone that can be the general. He seems to be filling that position for the team.
Kevin Corrigan wants a timeout. 1:39 to go in the second quarter. Notre Dame in the midst of a long scoring drought. Notre Dame debuting some snazzy new helmets, and there's a story behind those lids. The design inspired by a couple of things. One, the floor mosaic underneath the Golden Dome, and also the east nave of the Basilica of the Sacred Heart. So taking a couple of iconic monuments from campus and funneling their design, fusing their design into some snazzy new lids. Helmet games, got to be strong these days, Matt.
It's not something that I fortunately had the ability to take part of. We used our fall ball helmets my senior year in the spring. And so, to see these programs with better funding, better equipment, putting a little more thought and energy to those things, it's fun as a player. You certainly look forward to those types of things.
Turnovers have been an issue for Kevin Corrigan's team in this first half.
And some of it self-inflicted, a lot of it as a result of defense or UVA doing good things, but right there just a sloppy turnover, forcing in transition the right decision, bad execution. And right here, this is a credit to Virginia's ride, the 10-man, where they're making it very hard for Notre Dame to get the ball over the field. 5-2 UVA, no goals in 17 minutes for Notre Dame. As a direct result of their turnovers, they're just not getting possession. It feels like they haven't had the ball here in this first half.
While it's not a super high-scoring first half, tempo, all in favor of Virginia right now.
Absolutely. And the part, again, I think Wheaton Jacobois, you got to at least get him to initiate some of the offense. As I mentioned earlier, dodge against the short stick D-middies. Yes, Virginia has good ones, but Wheaton Jacobois is an elite midi, and he has all the tools to become exceptional. Give him the opportunity to create some offense, draw some slides from UVA so you can make a couple passes and get some step-down shooting to players like Costabule and Gleason.
The ACC champion does not get an automatic qualifier to the NCAA tournament. Both these teams, though, will be in. Virginia guaranteed a first-round home game. Notre Dame, I think, with a loss, still has a case for a first-round home game. With a win, it's a slam dunk.
Sure.
We've seen Marist out of the MAC win their conference tournament today. Richmond topping High Point, who has wins against Virginia and Duke. So High Point will likely stay home after a great start to the season. Richmond winning the SoCon. UMBC, the 4th seed in the America East, knocking off Vermont in that conference championship. So UMBC will be in. And there is a domino effect from the result of this game. If you're a Cornell fan, boy, you're rooting for Towson. You're rooting for Notre Dame today. Those are Cornell wins. Cornell's on the bubble. Maryland is rooting for Penn to win the Ivy. Terps and Big Red will likely garner a lot of discussion with the committee. Selection Sunday, tomorrow night, 9 p.m. ESPNU. You can watch the show. Chris Cotter, Quint Kesnick, Paul Carcaterra will be in Bristol. Making that drive up after the Ivy Championship. Here's Gleason. Jama defending Westland. 6'5" Cade Sawstad all over Brendan Gleason, senior from Essex, Vermont. Terrific high school football player. Now Westland has his man hung up.
And with a shot clock here for Virginia, do not overcommit. It's a great time to attack, though, if you're Notre Dame.
Ball was loose in front. Notre Dame, if they got that clean, had an easy slam dunk on the rebound. Shot clock expires. It's going to be Virginia ball with 41 seconds. A timeout by Lars Tiffany. Virginia can hold for one final shot. Now, Lars Tiffany has to be pleased with how this defense has played. Even though Notre Dame is not a team that will like to make games a track meet, we were talking pregame. We talked about it last week during the broadcast. They've got a lot of offensive firepower on this team.
Oh, they can go on runs. And they did it against Syracuse, pummeling them in the first half of their regular season matchup. Duke early on last week. So this is a team that has a lot of talent in the offense. Yeah, and to me, it just seems like they're a little flat. I think Virginia's come with more energy. Virginia's made the smaller plays look easier. And that ultimately is what leads to advantages in this college sport.
And you see sometimes pressure can take you out of your rhythm.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, and momentum, right? I mean, like, that's a belief thing, too. You know, when you play better and you play belief, guess what? You're going to get more breaks. I don't know why that's the case, but it's just the way it works. And right now, Virginia's going to get a lot more lucky bounces based on the energy and the belief and the momentum to bring this game to Notre Dame is.
Irish, more than 19 minutes without a goal. Let's look at the latest RPI. This is from the NCAA. Penn State, I think, win or lose, is going to be the 1 seed. Yale, right now sitting at 2. They should be a top 2 with a win against Penn in the Ivy League Championship. They drop if Penn wins. I can't see Virginia dropping below 4. Forget about the outcome of this game. Win or lose, I think Virginia's safe in the top 4.
And Maryland's the team that just sticks out to me. They've been ranked in the top 3 basically all year.
But look at their wins. Outside of the Penn win, there's nothing else that jumps out at you. There's no other top 10 RPI win.
In the polls, they've been in the top 3. In the RPI and kind of those released, rankings, they're on the ball. They were a loss away from being removed, and then they lose 2 straight to Hopkins. I don't think they can feel great about their chances. I mean, I think they feel comfortable, but they're going to be on the bubble.
Listen, I think they are in trouble. If Towson and Notre Dame win, I think Cornell's RPI gets a boost as Moore shoots it high, because those are Cornell wins. They beat Towson, they beat Notre Dame, and Maryland, I think, will be left out. Moore to Laviano, can't handle it clean. Rebound in front. Too high. That was an opportunity, and Virginia was in the crease anyway.
But again, Virginia running down the shot clock, or a few seconds left in quarters and halves, because they have Laviano, who's great inside, and they have 2 elite dodgers from behind the cage.
Virginia holds Notre Dame to a season-low 2 first-half goals. Virginia's defense did it on one end. The Stars showed up on the other, Aiken a couple of goals more. Laviano and Conrad all finding the back of the net as well. At halftime, we'll bring you the top 5 plays from the week, including a Virginia play you may have seen just a week ago, and we'll look at the Ivy League Championship. Again, ramifications of this game do affect the Ivy. Down to Megan.
I'm with Virginia assistant coach Sean Curran. Sean, you held Notre Dame to just 2 goals in that first half. What did you like in your team?
I mean, credit to our defense. They've been playing lights out in this first half. Offensively, I think we can slow it down just a little bit, just to give them some breathers, because it is hot out. But man, I give them a ton of credit. Alex Rhodes making some saves, and they're doing a great job keeping up their end of the bargain.
What does your team need to do to separate themselves in the second half?
We talk about it all the time, especially on offense, just letting the ball do the work. Trusting our game plan, and just really making sure that we're flying around when that ball's on the ground, dominating that ground ball battle, and in turn dominate that possession battle.
Thanks, Coach. Good luck.
Yeah, thank you.
Congratulations to
Prior to the 16th of March, Notre Dame had beaten Virginia 7 straight times. Prior to that game, the last Virginia team to beat Notre Dame had Matt Ward, 2006. Cavaliers looking to make it 2 in a row against the Irish. This one with an ACC championship on the line. Virginia held Notre Dame scoreless in that second quarter, and UVA with a 5-2 lead on the Irish in this ACC championship game. In this same matchup a season ago in the ACC title game, Notre Dame won by 10 goals. The difference in the first half today, it starts, Matt Ward, with Virginia's defense.
Yeah, they defensively have put the lockdown on Notre Dame's offense, communicating well, playing one-on-one defense well. They have been very, very sharp, holding Notre Dame to 2 goals, their lowest first-half output in the season.
Yeah, Virginia has been able to ride effectively
Thanks, Anish. I just spoke to Corrigan about what they need to do in the second half to get a little separation. He said play better offense. He's not happy with how they've been playing. He said they're not clearing the ball to them, and they're clearing the ball horribly, and they're not sliding to them, and they're beating them one-on-one.
One area they've had the advantage is with Charles Leonard at the faceoff X. 6 of 9 in that first half. Go back to that regular season meeting. Notre Dame dominated the faceoff X in that game. Virginia came back in that second half, Matt, and actually did not make a single save in the second half. Towson has just beaten Drexel, so bubble teams can take a deep sigh of relief. Towson likely at large had they lost, so the Colonial belongs to Towson. They've got a chance to host a first-round game. That's good news for Cornell as well.
And Towson's a scary team because they can dominate the face-off X. And when they click offensively, they're very, very good. So they kind of went through a lull in the middle of the season, but I think they're starting to recapture some of their confidence that they displayed when they dismantled Hopkins and Loyola early in the season.
Now, we've been here. We didn't have a chance to watch the game, but Alex Woodall, their stud face-off man, he actually didn't play in the semifinals of the CAA tourney. Aiken's got 2. Thought about it. Now Conrad down the alley. Over to Krause. Looking for the middle off the cross of Aiken. Shot clock under 20. Aiken against Krantz. Aiken back to Moore. Moore's been quiet today. Here is Krause. There's the slide. Krause in trouble. 3 on the shot clock. Got to get rid of it.
Eat at this point. Nice job.
Notre Dame, quick restart.
What a job by Notre Dame's defense. And a nice adjustment. They slid to Aiken. He had to throw the pass. Don't let him be a shooter. I know that's easier said than done, but schematically you can make adjustments.
Few would do it better on the defensive end than Notre Dame. So Notre Dame will go 6-on-6, and this is where they were sloppy in the first half. Not a ton of clean looks. Alex Rode played well, but a lot of credit to the guys in front of him.
Yeah, they did it. They did a great job. Notre Dame hasn't scored a goal in 21 minutes.
McCann against Fox. There's Costabile. Jacobois has the shorty jump. 9 decades to Gleason. Picked up by Greco. Shot clock at 20. Gleason sandwich. Connors jars it loose. Greco vacuums.
Virginia is getting better every time they come out on the defensive end in terms of timing their slides and then the recovery. But again, for Notre Dame, Jacobois needs to do more. He's got to create.
Conrad, punt return clear. On the doorstep, Moore! Saved by Schmidt. Crease violation against Virginia. Oh, that was a huge save by Matt Schmidt.
He's been good.
Costabile in trouble. Conrad forces it out. Schmidt all the way out of the cage. Schmidt's going to bring it across. Now back to Costabile.
Schmidt making it happen. The unbelievable save on the doorstep, and then the heads-up play there on the ground ball.
He came into last week's game at 41% in the ACC, and then stood on his head against Duke.
Face-offs and goaltending are the keys to comebacks.
Here comes Costabile. He's got the shorty. McNamara. Now Gleason. Help coming from Will Rock. Stin falls down. A lot of players slipping today. Off the cross of McNamara. Had his eyes in the wrong spot. Another turnover for Notre Dame.
And this field is slick, but again, Virginia pushing in transition.
Now the different format in the ACC this year, where you have the semifinals last weekend, the championship this weekend. And what you're seeing as a result, Virginia getting a lot of mileage from its first midfield. You don't have to sub as much.
I love the new format, though. I think it's better for the conference. You get a better quality game in the championship. It gives a team to make a run. It gives a team to make a run who didn't have a great season, because if you win 3 straight in the ACC.
Got a flag coming against Schatz. Save made by Schmidt. Another chance now. Laviano, another save by Schmidt, and now the penalty. Quickly, the downside is, if you're one of the teams that's not playing today, you don't have a chance to schedule another game, and now you have 2 weeks before a game going into your first playoff game. Hold on Krantz, so Virginia man up.
Schmidt is heating up. He has been phenomenal. As you're going to see Dox Aiken getting to the center of the field, but look at Schmidt right here. I mean, just point blank, one fake, and just following the ball the entire time.
Penalty on Schatz, excuse me. Man up opportunity for Virginia. Aiken! Top shelf. There is that penthouse Parmesan. The hat trick for Dox.
And a better man up set for Virginia. They got Notre Dame rotating, and they had put Dox Aiken in a position to be stepping towards the pass. To his right hand, low to high. No one better in college lacrosse. Just tic-tac-toe. Low to high, just an absolute cannon. UVA gets the first goal here in the second half, now up 6-2.
What's most important is enjoy this week and seize the moment.
I'll tell you, it's May. The juice is for real.
May Madness is here. First round action coming to you next weekend. Locations TBD, but we will know tomorrow night, 9 p.m. So here's what you do. You DVR Game of Thrones. You watch the selection show live. You stay off social media so nothing is ruined for you. 9 Eastern, ESPNU, the Lacrosse Selection Show. Chris Cotter, Quint Kesnick, Paul Carcaterra. They'll make the short drive from New York City to Bristol, Connecticut after the Ivy League Championship. Virginia went on the road last year, played Loyola and lost in the first round. They are assured of playing a home game at Klockner. If Notre Dame comes back, I think Notre Dame is a guarantee home game in round one. With a loss, can the Irish still get a home game? Possibly.
I think it kind of comes down. I don't know if you look at it this way, but I think the selection committee may. How does this game end up? 10-9 is a lot different than 14-4. I mean,
but you know they don't look at that. It's all RPI. It's SOS.
I get that, but I really do think that if you're looking at it, you still take into some account the eye test.
Unfortunately, they don't. You know, a win in February counts the same as a win in April. You saw that with Villanova last year. Villanova had no business being in the NCAA tournament. If you saw the way they played late in the season, they had some injuries. You knew they were going to get smoked by whoever they played in round one, and Duke did that to them. I think the big decision tomorrow night is going to be Cornell or Maryland. Here comes Matt Moore. Conrad. And away from the ball, it'll be Notre Dame possession, warding off.
This is the box that started it all.
Maryland, to me, Matt, is still a team that can get to Philadelphia to championship weekend. I think they were hurt this year a little bit by scheduling.
Yeah.
Some of their wins that maybe look good at one point in the season don't look so good now. More shot saved by Schmidt.
Yeah, Maryland's an interesting team. A lot of new faces, some big-time players, but I don't think they're playing great lacrosse right now. I mean, I think early on, to your point, their win-loss was a byproduct of who they were playing. And now they got into kind of the meat and potato of their season. They've struggled a little bit.
Punching their tickets today, Marist winning the MAC. UMBC, the 4 seed. Can't say that name too loudly in these parts, but they won the America East, knocking off Vermont. Towson winning the Colonial. Richmond, the SoCon. Jacob Boyce just missing the net. Race to the end line. Willits and Kaloji, and it's Willits, the hustle for Notre Dame. Irish need more of that in the second half.
Yeah, they haven't scored a goal in 25 minutes. I think Wheaton Jacob Boyce is the key.
McCann. Here's Costabile.
Here he is right here.
Jacob Boyce has the shorty Jama. Skip to Costabile. Saved by Rode. Rode out of the cage. Loose ball. Connors had it for a moment, and it comes back to Gleason and to the Irish. That was a big save by Rode. Connor Morin passing it to nobody in particular.
I think they're going to call that a shot, but I mean, that's the first time we've said his name and Willits. I mean, it's almost like Notre Dame's playing 6-on-4 offensively. They just haven't been a factor in this game in the slightest.
When they get that secondary scoring, guys other than Costabile and Gleason, they're almost unbeatable.
And that is a big-time save on the left side of your screen there from Rode. I mean, that's Costabile, one of the best shooters in the country, going toe-to-toe, seeing it the entire way, holding his ground. He has been sharp from the get-go.
Morin, that was Costabile with a clean look. He puts it on cage. It usually goes in. Jacoboy's behind the back. 32 on the shot clock. Notre Dame keeps it. Notre Dame looking for its first goal since the first quarter. Morin whiffs.
Morin has to take at least 2 more steps before he has enough angle for that shot to be at all legitimate. When dodging from X, you have to get high enough to create angle to score.
Connors knocking it away from Costabile. You don't see him invert too often. And the cause turnover by Jared Connors, junior out of New York.
And Virginia could have an opportunity here to push as Costabile and Mitty behind the cage. Will they recognize in the substitution game?
All the crowd applauding the defensive effort. That's been the story for Virginia today. If they get this kind of defense, listen, they could be playing on Memorial Day.
This defense and the play in the cage right now. You know, Rode has been phenomenal, and credit the defense for that too, though. I mean, they are making Notre Dame shoot the ball prior to when they want to, and they're giving him clear lanes to see the ball and the releases from the very beginning. It's been a phenomenal effort defensively for Virginia.
Herring around the bend against Hallenbeck. Herring 10 goals on 15 shots this season. Shoot more, kid.
I took more shots than the national championship my senior year.
There's the skip. Conrad, a laser! Uncle Mo behind UVA.
We're going to see here how this goal unfolds. It starts with Connors from UVA dislodging the ball from Costabile. Furthermore, picks up the ground ball. Coach Tiffany from UVA fired up, meeting his long stick on the sideline, and before he can turn his head, Mikey Herring finds Ryan Conrad. Now, what you're not going to see here is Corey Harris, number 8 for Virginia, continually substituting in and out at the midfield line, creating chaos for Notre Dame's defense that opens up that passing lane. And Ryan Conrad, his 19th goal of the year, he gets better and better every game. Just a complete effort there on that goal on the defensive end, in the substitution, and then execution on the offensive side of things.
In ACC play, Virginia relied almost exclusively on its big 5, Krause, Moore, Laviano, and Aiken. They've accounted for all the scoring today. Flag is down as Aiken brings it across the midline, gets a nice helmet tap from Laviano.
Here will be the interesting thing here. Was that offsides or a trip? Now it's offsides. So what happened is Notre Dame thought he was offsides. And I don't know, I can't remember who it was, but he wasn't. It was a trip.
Well, they've got 7 guys on the field right now.
Well, because he went over thinking it was an offsides penalty, and it was a trip. And then they threw the flag for the offsides. So now, because he thought he initially had an offsides, ended up going offsides as a result.
So Virginia now is playing 6-on-7. Notre Dame has 7 defensemen in front of Schmidt. You see a lot of finger pointing in the crowds. Hey, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I guess if you're going to be offsides, you're going to get flagged for it. Stay offsides.
Well, that was the piece, though. He wasn't offsides, and then he was like, he thought the penalty was offside, so he's like, all right, now I might as well stay off.
Might as well stay off.
And then they got the double whammy.
Here comes more. 6-on-7 for Virginia. Laviano, and now the Cavs will go man up.
And so it's going to be 6-on-5, I think, just for an extended period as we listen.
Yeah, it doesn't go from 7 to 6.
6 to 4, though, is what I was going for.
All sides, 30.
Oh. So all that I was talking about for nothing. I guess the penalty was he was offsides.
It was offsides.
No tripping.
But, he committed to it, Matt.
Yeah, hey, he just wanted to make me look and sound foolish. It's fine, I get it. No hard feelings.
Charlie Leonard in the box, a man-up opportunity for Virginia. Wahoo's on a 5-0 run. Irish have not scored since the 4:11 mark of the first quarter. A defensive stranglehold, and the Stars have come to play offensively on the doorstep. Xander Dixon, the freshman from Michael Krause, 6 unanswered. UVA can smell a championship.
Another man-up goal here. Early in the set, Michael Krause with the nice skip pass to Xander Dixon, who was an addition to the man-up unit about midway through the season. And you can see here just a nice job from Krause looking Dixon off, opens that passing lane, in and out of his stick. 8 goals for the Cavaliers. And this is a huge development for Virginia. If you want to make a run, you have to be an elite man-up. You have to score come championship weekend on those man-up opportunities. Virginia has really struggled, but right now, 2 goals in a row on the man-up.
Meanwhile, Notre Dame, the scoring drought continues. 0 in the second quarter, nothing in the third. Connors off the wing. He can go. Connors! Career goal number 12! Hashtag juice goal!
Connors has been everywhere in this matchup, and right there, the ground ball. Notre Dame does not slide to him, letting him shoot it from the outside, and look at this angle. Just an absolute howitzer, high to high with the 6-foot long pole. You're able to get a lot more power, a lot more deception. Schmidt in cage for Notre Dame, no chance.
Irish making a change at the faceoff X. Junior Almeida, freshman faceoff man. He's taken only 11 draws this season. Charles Leonard, the all-ACC faceoff man for Notre Dame, had taken all but 18 coming into this game. And another faceoff one. Will Rock off the carom from LaSala. All the momentum right now on the side of Virginia. 7 straight. Little hidden ball trick here. Who's got it? Conrad has it. Flag is down.
And Notre Dame,
they went to Laviano.
And they fouled him. It's going to be an interference call because he didn't have the ball. You're not allowed to engage a player who does not have the ball.
Right now, it feels like Notre Dame's a poker player on tilt.
I don't think we said Notre Dame's name really in the second half. They haven't had the ball. It hasn't been their day. And offensively, when they have, they've turned it over. Rhodes made a couple saves. Virginia is just dictating the entire pace of play.
We've seen Virginia in stretches be dominant. This has been a complete effort from start to finish. Connor. And the Cavaliers will go man up once again. Wheels coming off the Irish right now. Arden Cohn, best defender. Okay, I mean, there's 3:11 to go. We know Notre Dame has firepower. If there's any shot for the Irish, what's the recipe to get back into this game?
Start with what's right in front of you. They got to get a stop here. And then offensively, again, I think they have to attack with Jackovois. Or one of the matchups against the short stick, they're not going to run by UVA's long sticks. That's been proven. It's just not happening in this game. So you need to get UVA sliding and then attack and get Costabile and Gleason at the right place.
Moore, his shot saved by Schmidt. There's the start, perhaps. And then a poor outlet for Restic. On the carpet, and Virginia gets it back.
That's the game in a nutshell right there.
You do one thing right, and you can't follow it up. In a way, it's been the story of the season for Notre Dame. They haven't won 3 games in a row all year. It looked like they had some momentum after last week's win against Duke. It's been blunted today, and now Virginia throws it away.
And this Notre Dame team, I think we were talking about, I think they could win a national championship. They could lose in the first round.
Well, they're that type of team. You got to win 3 games in a row at one point to do that, though.
Sure, but they have the talent, and they have these games where you watch them like, man, this team is complete. And then you watch them today, and you kind of say, wow, they're on upset alert.
So why is that?
Maybe I don't think they have enough depth offensively. I think they really can hurt you with 2 people. They need that 3rd and 4th player to step up and be a threat.
Multiple flags.
They're playing 6-on-4. Morin and Willits, we haven't said their name but once today.
A combined 1 of 9 shooting. Here is Morin. He'll challenge Greco.
This is a matchup they need to go after. It's Matt Moore on the defensive end. Yes, he's a converted midi.
Mikey Drake sighting. And now Notre Dame will rely on its extra man offense.
One play at a time. Here it is. Can they get Costabile the ball in the right place to get his hands free and be a threat? I wouldn't be surprised at some point if Virginia shuts off Costabile. Take him out.
They haven't had to, though.
Yeah.
He had one great look where he scored on the man up. He had another which Rhodes saved. Other than that, they've done a pretty good job defending him.
And so I think that's why they probably won't do it, but I love the concept of taking him as a player out of the man up because he really is the only stretch shooter on this offensive unit.
30-second man advantage. Jackovois will initiate. Costabile catches it high on the wing. Irish have gone more than 33 minutes without a goal. Here's Willits. And he tosses it over the head of Costabile, a turnover for the Irish. Even when they catch a break, Matt.
It's not their day. Their feet look a little heavy. They're not. At the end of it, sloppy play is more an indicator of moving your feet and your energy. And they just don't have it. They're stuck in mud out there, and it just hasn't been a pretty display offensively for them here today.
Selection Sunday is tomorrow as we go back to even strength. Virginia, since winning the championship in 2011, has one NCAA tournament win. That was in 2012. They reached the quarterfinals before losing to Notre Dame. And they'll have a chance to end a 7-year NCAA tournament drought in terms of wins right here at Clockner. It should be the benefit of a top 3 seed. Conrad slips. Final seconds of this third quarter. Krause doubled. And time expires in quarter number 3. Virginia has scored 7 unanswered since this was a 2-2 game after 1 quarter. Notre Dame hasn't scored since the first quarter. We go to the 4th in Charlottesville. Some of that power, well, all of that power has belonged to Virginia. A 7-0 run. The Irish have not scored since the 4:11 mark of the first quarter. Alex Rode has been steady in goal. Costabile, the star for Notre Dame, held to just 1 goal. And Virginia's had offense from Conrad and Aiken and Moore. And they've won every faceoff in the second half.
And in the second and third quarter, 7 of 9, now 8 of 10, of the last 10. There's a reason they're going on this run. They've had the ball what seems like the majority, if not the entire game, on the offensive end.
And now they can squeeze it a little bit, play the clock.
And this is a big test for Virginia because they're a team that hasn't been great with the lead, and they're learning. And it was Coach Tiffany at the beginning of the year. He said, this is the year that I'm going to trust our players to know when to put the foot on the gas and take it off. It always was down because he wanted to ingrain that type of play. But now we have the leadership. Can we slow it down when we need to?
This is the first ACC game that Virginia has played this season, Matt, in which they have not trailed by at least 4 goals. 4-1 against ACC competition, nonetheless. $20 to shoot. Aiken against Krantz. Good defense by Krantz. And a turnover by Virginia. I go back to last Thursday, Syracuse, North Carolina. Orange tried to sit on the ball late in the game. That opened the door for UNC to get back.
Yep. And again, for Virginia, they're getting a little bit too much ball in the stick, holding on to it too long. Where they were successful is drawing slides, making 1 or 2 passes, then attacking again. Notre Dame's too good on the ball.
Notre Dame's not going to get it over, and that's going to be a violation. They had 20 seconds to get it over. Took too long. And another turnover.
Another fail. I don't want to say failed clears. I want to say stolen possessions, from Virginia riding the ball back. It's remarkable how adept they are at that.
It's been body blow after body blow. Notre Dame milling in retreat, really, since the start of the second quarter.
Yeah, Notre Dame probably about 11 of 18 clearing the ball right now.
Yeah, that's abysmal. Kraus to Moore. Shaking. Gets to the middle. Saves Schmidt. Outlet to Phillips. Unsettled opportunity. Phillips feeds the wing. And that one whistled wide by Willits. Brian Willits has scored in every game this season, but not today.
Matt Moore, a couple soft shots there for Virginia. When you're up 9-2, again, that's what we're talking about. Learn how to play the right way with a lead. We're not taking a shot fading away towards the sideline when you're up 7. That was Willits' first attempt in the game.
He had 3 goals against Virginia in the ACC final last year. Costabile. How about the defense by Connors holding his ground? Greco defending Morin. That is ruled a shot. Costabile closer to the sideline. Matt Moore left the field moments ago for Virginia.
Morin from Notre Dame, though, that's his 4th shot that has come straight towards the sideline. He's not getting his hips around. He's not getting high enough.
And Greco jars that loose from Morin. Jackaboy's on the rebound, falling down. Alex Rode with the save. All right, we need to put an end to this goalie controversy. Rode has to be the guy going forward, doesn't he?
I wouldn't make a change now. To his credit, he does play very good position. He hasn't been great on catching and making all the saves you need to make. Today's been phenomenal. So I would hype train him as hard as you could as a coach. He's the player of the game. He's everything because the confidence and momentum that he has experience in this game will translate and carry forward.
Lars Tiffany told us that for the first year and a half, Alex Rode didn't say anything, and that's a position where you want somebody to be vocal. He said, Rode has just now started to talk some smack in practice. He's getting emotional, and they encourage that. They want to see that fire in the cage.
And it's the confidence. So he's got to move it.
Here comes Connor, Virginia's top recruit. Part of the #1 freshman class in the country, and McCann stick checks it loose. McCann plays on that first midfield, but Kevin Corrigan says he's the best cover midi they have. And Sting away with it for the Irish.
Just no energy on the sideline, though, for Notre Dame. A great individual effort. You get the ground ball. If you want to come back, you have to believe it. And you have to kind of sense the energy. And right now, you're just not seeing it on the field, but also on the sidelines. You can see Coach Jerry Byrne fired up, but no reaction, stoic on the sideline from the Fighting Irish.
Notre Dame has gone almost 40 minutes since its last goal. Here's Mikey Drake. He was a factor at times last year. Has not seen the field much this season. Drake down the alley. Back to Morin, the sophomore. Now Logan Greco's been terrific today as well. Willits able to scoop it up. Nobody open. Willits isn't the type to beat you off a dodge, and Notre Dame forced to reset with 15 to shoot. Superb defense from Virginia today. Morin over to McNamara. McNamara. Tough shot. Rode is there for the save. We're watching a defense grow up today, Matt.
And Notre Dame's trying everything. Connor Gleason not on the field. Costabile not on the field.
Harris! Body blow, haymaker.
Notre Dame trying different things to build momentum. They go to the 10-man ride. And what that means is Schmidt, the goalkeeper, comes out of the cage. You bump a player up to the midfield, and now it's a much more aggressive ride, but you are subject to counterattacks. Harris, the D-midi.
Matt, want to guess how many career goals he had before that?
0.
The first of his career.
What a play from Notre Dame. And again, Harris, the alert play. Wide open net. Schmidt out of position. Cavaliers on a run. 10-2 here in the ACC Championship.
What's most important is enjoy this week and seize the moment.
I'll tell you, it's May. The juice is for real.
NCAA Tournament May Madness, which has already begun, takes another step next weekend with first-round games. There will be one right here at Klockner Stadium featuring Virginia. They've got a 10-2 lead. No automatic qualifier in the ACC, but both of these teams will be in. Duke will be in. Syracuse should be in as well. UMBC, a Cinderella in the America East, the 4 seed in that conference tournament. Couple of upsets. They punched their ticket. Towson winning the Colonial. Marist, the Red Foxes, winning the MAC. Richmond winning the SoCon, knocking off High Point today. Matt, High Point is interesting. They've got a couple of bad losses on their resume, but
two great
got
wins.
A Virginia win and a Duke win. That's as good as anybody in the country, those 2 wins. Does High Point, even with a low RPI, do they have a case as an at-large?
If we had this conversation a few months ago, I think they'd be really strong, but they kind of faltered a little bit down the year. They had a couple bad losses. The tough part, and really no fault to them, is their conference doesn't give you the opportunity to play great games. Credit Coach Torpy for scheduling Duke, UVA. Credit them for winning both of those games. But just the way it's unfolding, there's going to be so many talented teams voting for that or vying for that last piece. It's going to be tough.
Another save by Rode. Now you look at some of High Point's peripherals. They're 13-3. Wins against 4, maybe 5 NCAA tournament teams. Asher Nolting, obviously, they're one of the top players in the country, but
I don't think the gap between them, Maryland,
Cornell,
Hopkins, is that great.
See,
but you have
awards, though, on the resume. St. John's and Jacksonville. I don't know if Richmond's a bad loss. Richmond beat Notre Dame.
But again, it's not a good win. I mean, it's not a
no, it's not going to. It's not going to give you a boost.
A loss to Richmond hurts.
It hurts,
right?
Right.
And so, but again, I love the fact that they got those 2 wins, and they're a good team. I think they ran out of steam a little bit, but they're worth the discussion.
That's going to be interesting.
Look, Virginia wouldn't want to play him in the first round, I promise you that.
I think there's a lot of teams that would not want to play High Point, but again, we've seen the committee so often get married to RPI and the metrics.
Yep.
I like putting teams in who can go beat somebody. Often upsets this week during conference tournaments make for some lousy first-round games the following week. But this has been a wild year. Penn State clearly the team to beat, but a lot to prove. And Notre Dame finally scores. Connor Morin with the Irish's third goal, and that is the first goal for Notre Dame in about 42 minutes. 42 minutes without a goal.
And if they're going to want to make a dent in this lead, they're going to have to get transition opportunities. And right here again, off an odd man rush, Morin with good positioning, his feet set, running towards the middle of the field, increases his angle. First time we said his name in the game, where he's actually made a play. He needs to make more. They're not out of this. It's going to be and require a monumental effort on their end to come back, but they're going to need to do it in the middle of the field because I don't think they've proven they can do it in the 6-on-6 set.
Connor Morin, sophomore from Bernardsville, New Jersey. Top 10 recruit coming out of high school last year. MVP of the Under Armour All-America game. And dangerous here as Connor's pushed it back, and now Notre Dame comes up with it. We come up on 6.5 to play. Virginia seeking its first ACC championship since 2010. They ended up at championship weekend that season. Notre Dame won this last year. Irish also won the ACC championship in 2014. Westland. Now Costabile down the alley. They forced him to his left. Meyer could not catch it clean. Sostad could off the bounce.
Good offense there, though. They got the ball moving. They had a step down. It was poor execution.
Now Notre Dame into its ride, which has been one of the best weapons in the country the last few years. And that was a shot, and Krause has the backup, and that was
pretty close.
Pretty close to going in that. Virginia has won the ACC championship 6 times previously. 97, 99, 2000, 2003, you were on that team, 2006, 2010. And in 99, 2003, and 2006, Virginia saw their season end with a dog pile on Memorial Day. '06, that was special. Last undefeated team we've seen.
Yeah, it was just we were fortunate. We had a great team. Everything worked out, and the recruiting played out perfectly. Each class had a piece that was necessary to do it. We just had a bunch of great guys that worked hard. And it's hard to put into words, but the fact that the last person on the depth chart meant as much as the top players on the depth chart is when special things happen.
Anish Shroff, Matt Ward, Megan Triplett down on the field. Matt was the Tewaaraton Award winner in 2006. You look at a guy like Ian Laviano, who often is brushed aside. He's just a crease guy. He's just a finisher. Tell me what those guys mean to a team. Tell me what it is about the guys who can get rid of the ball quickly and find that open space. What do they do for somebody like you?
For me, when I was playing, I was an outside shooter. And so when you have a player like Laviano, what happens is he's such a threat. The defense has to clamp down on him. It then opens up passing lanes for your outside shooters to get their hands free, unobstructed, with a clear look at the cage. And that's, when you have a Kyle Dixon, the all-time leading, good luck.
Right.
We had Matt Posque, who was as good as anyone that I've ever played with in the crease, and that opened up passing lanes. And look at Laviano. We're just saying he's just still moving.
This is just stall ball here.
But again, we're looking out towards the midline. But if you look in the center, Laviano hasn't stopped moving. He's running around.
He's just running circles. Yeah,
and
playing duck, duck, goose. I just think too often we brush aside those off-ball guys. He's just a crease guy.
You know,
what did Mikey Wynn mean to Notre Dame all those years?
It's
going to satisfy the shot clock, but Schmidt hasn't.
But it's one. I mean, we talked about having great D middies to win a national championship. I can't remember a team that doesn't have an amazing crease player to not win a national championship.
Matt Gaudette last year.
I mean, if you really look at it, every team has a player who can score tons of goals but can't run by anyone. And that is more challenging than finding the big star athlete who you know is a step faster or 10 pounds heavier. It's finding that person that's been kind of looked down upon their whole career that can make an impact that really leads to great things.
You look at Virginia and you say offensively, okay, not a ton of scoring depth, but as you said, their top six, as good as anybody. That can get you through Maine, certainly. But defense and goaltending were the questions.
And again,
they can build off of this. That's huge.
For them, what is nice, though, is they have a lot of depth in the deep midfield. So they're not just running offensive players.
Road coming out of the cage. He's playing with confidence today.
Again, a risky pass, though. He's got to learn from that.
Wesleyan inside. It's 10-4.
You cannot make that play if you're Road. And again, maybe in the first half, you know, you're trying to dictate pace of play and tempo and you want to push it. Now you're up 6 goals. You were up 7. Maintain possession. It's okay. You don't need any more goals to win. And so he can't be impatient with that pass. Even if he threw an accurate pass, it would have been trouble.
Let's play the what-if game for a minute. If Yale wins the Ivy, I think Yale's going to be the 2 seed.
Sure.
If Virginia holds on here, and it appears they will, you see Virginia as the 3?
Yeah. I just, you know, they outside that Duke game, they've been playing pretty good lacrosse. And they have a great resume, big wins. I mean, Marist, a team that was one of the weaker teams on their schedule, just won their conference. You know, and so this is a team that's battle-tested. I mean, if Penn wins, do they get the 2? I mean, I think whoever wins the Ivy could and should be the 2 seed, potentially.
The loser will probably drop to 4,
sure.
5.
Yep.
Duke, I feel, with its quantity of quality wins, I don't see Duke falling below 4. Notre Dame's going to be interesting. Costabile's shot is saved. Notre Dame is going to be in. The question is, will they host a first-round game? Do you see a first-round game in South Bend?
No. I mean, this is a good team. A lot of good wins, some bad losses. You know, we were talking about High Point and some of the losses they had. You know, this Notre Dame team lost to Richmond. You know, that alone to me kind of knocks them out of the home game.
The win against Maryland, the win value of that has dropped.
Sure.
The win value of Denver, not as high because Denver's now in a 1-bid league.
Right.
But they do have a Syracuse win and a Duke win.
I mean, what's the team you don't want to play? In that, Loyola's going to be more likely not. I mean, are they a home team?
I think
after that loss to Army,
close. It'll be close.
So you get them on the. I mean, Pat Spencer could carry any team to a national championship, and so that to me is the team I wouldn't want to play in the first round. If
brought up a good one earlier, Towson.
Yeah,
great goalie, great face-off man. Zach Goodrich is the best defensive midfielder in the country. That team in the playoffs in a tight game, boy.
And that's a team, by the way, they have championship weekend experience. And so I think they went through a little lull. I think they were banged up from an injury perspective. I think, Woodall would, if he's healthy, that's a danger. I wouldn't want to play them.
What does today represent in the rebirth of Virginia lacrosse?
It's belief. To me, this is a team that last year they got better, but I don't think they believed they were a national contender. I think they do now, and I think they will moving forward. This is now a coaching staff that has established itself as a group that can build national contenders. First at Brown, now here at Virginia. They're getting some of, if not all, the best players in the country, top recruiting classes every year. Sometimes belief goes a long way.
Listen to this crowd. Wahoo wah! Virginia on top of the ACC. Next up for the Cavaliers, the NCAA tournament.
By by far the most complete game for Virginia all year. They've had games where they are great, but in stretches they struggled. They allowed other teams to go on runs, but today, both offensively and defensively, they only scored 10 goals, which is below their season average, but it wasn't a bad offensive output. That's a great Notre Dame defense where they were generating offensive shots. They shot the ball well, and then defensively, they're learning, and they're being in the right place at the right time.
They've been the cardiac Cavaliers all season, needing big comebacks against Syracuse, Notre Dame in the regular season, Brown, North Carolina last week. Today it was wire to wire. They held Notre Dame scoreless for 40-plus minutes at one point, holding the Irish to a season-low 4 goals. Defense was the story for Virginia. Down to Megan.
Hey, Coach, you just won your first ACC championship as a head coach at Virginia and the first for the program since 2010. What are the emotions like for you right now?
Well, I'm really excited for the men in this program, that's for sure. They're the ones who've committed hard. Dom Stars and Mark Van Ozo gave us great players to work with, and we've been really fortunate to coach those men. But what a crowd, though. What a setting here at Klockner Stadium, and the way this town supports this team. I'm a very lucky man.
And we got to talk about your sophomore goalie, Alex Rowe. He got the start position. How impressed are you with his performance today?
Yeah, he stepped up big. You know, it's difficult the way we treat our goalies. You know, it's like, how do you play this week? You know, you're not guaranteed, and you know, he's willing to accept that pressure of you got to fight and earn playing time every day.
And earlier this week, you said how proud you are of the culture that you guys have been able to build over the last 3 years. What has the senior class meant to you guys as a program?
Well, this senior class, you know, they had their struggles early in their career, and one of those was my year. We weren't very good my first year here, and I give them credit for believing in the message, even though it wasn't a great message the first year. And so I'm just a very grateful, thankful man to have these men.
And let's talk about your defense. You held Notre Dame to just 4 goals in this game. How impressed are you, and what was clicking for you guys?
Yeah, we did a good job with our support when we needed to slide. We made good decisions today, and it's something that we've been working on, and we still have some improvement to do. But when do you have to support the guy who's being dodged, and when do you not have to support the man being dodged? And we got to gloves and forced a lot of turnovers today, and then Rode bailed us out.
Congratulations, Coach.
Thank you.
Lars Tiffany has talked so much about culture, bringing that winning culture back.